All right, good evening. Welcome to our meeting this evening of the MSAD 75 Board of Directors. Today's Thursday, July 10th. We're now bringing the meeting to order. Before we begin the roll call, please note that anyone who wishes to speak during public comment tonight is being asked to sign up on the clipboard at the podium. Once the clipboard from the podium is in my hands, we will not be accepting the sign-ups. Like we nailed that already. Thank you, Jim. All right, and so moving on, we will do roll call.
Present. Present.
Absent. Okay, Jessica Damon,
Present.
Tony Gong Calls,
Present.
Gregory Greenlee, Hudson Hayward,
Present.
Haley Coulis, present, Ryan Larson,
Here.
Jim Moulton,
Present.
Kim Pacelli, here, Amy Stelkey,
Here.
Frank Wright,
Present.
Mary Hobson. I don't know why you're not on here, Mary. Thank you.
All right, now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. All right, next up on the agenda is any adjustments to the agenda? I'm not aware of any. At this time, yes, that's it.
I just want to note that we added, yes,
Thank you. 10.2,
So moved.
seconded.
we'll come back to Jessica. Let's move in second, so it's on the floor for discussion. Jessica, did you have anything you wanted to add to it, or you?
I have another question
Okay.
about changing the agenda. It's within the consent agenda. I would like,
If we pull out the consent agenda, we'll address that when we get to that piece in the
Okay.
agenda, and then we'll pull it out and be able to address it right after. So just for the general agenda at this point. All right, all those in favor? Opposed? No abstentions? So that is noted, and then we will move on to public comment. First up, we have Zach Labby.
Thanks, everybody. My name's Zach LeBay. I'm a former Mount Ararat graduate. It's nice being in a version of my school that has walls. Really enjoy that. I wanted to come in to speak briefly tonight about the upcoming event at the OPAC, which I know I've emailed the board about. I'm sure other parents have as well. First off, I just want to thank the board for the statement that you did release that I reviewed today, reaffirming your support for the safety and well-being of trans students and LGBTQ students. It's appreciated and it's necessary in this time. This is not an argument about beliefs. I'm not here to tell anybody what their personal beliefs should or shouldn't be. This is an issue with behavior. And one of the concerns that I know I have as a parent, my kids aren't in MSAD 75. I'm over in RSU 5. But these issues impact all of our communities. And what we have is an event where political fundraising is being done on behalf, or I should say, run by a person who does not have the welfare of students in mind. When I reviewed OPAC's mission statement, the mission statement clearly stated, one of the lines clearly stated that the activities at the OPAC are meant for the welfare and well-being of students. I apologize if I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you get my drift. And I'm sure everyone here knows what happened in Greeley. I'm sure everyone here is very familiar with Laura Libby's behavior and how she has endangered students and endangered other school systems. I'm a parent that thinks that's a problem. Other parents in this community think that's a problem. And if you agree with me and you're watching this live stream, I think that you should join me and other parents at the event to tell them how you feel, what you think, and I hope that this community continues to be a place where students, all students, can be safe and can participate in the activities and sports they enjoy. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Apologize for getting your last name wrong. LeBay. Appreciate you being here though, Zach. All right, so we will move on with the agenda. Now we are at the consent agenda. And with that, I will turn it over, or ask you, Jessica, for your input.
Yes, thank you. I would like to move to pull out the minutes from the 26th of June, which is consent agenda item 5.2. There is an error to 12.2, which is the section in the minutes of the 26th of June that needs to be reviewed. And it needs to be changed too. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up.
Let's just pull it out now and we'll discuss it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so with that removed, is there anybody else that has anything else they'd like to have removed from the consent agenda? So I would accept the motion to. Any other questions or thoughts? All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda with the one item pulled out?
Right.
So then we can move on to 5.2, the meetings in June 26th, and we can address that separately here. And per kind of Robert's rules, the preferred way to do is that right after the consent agenda work, so we can address it now quickly if you want, or we can table it and bring it back another meeting, not knowing how involved the modification would be. If I'm assuming if it's a minor modification, we could accept that here and note it.
It's very small, but your choice.
Yeah, yeah. What did you know? What did you notice there?
12.2, to consider a second reading adoption of new policy BDFA abstentions. Says the vote was unanimous, but I recall that there was one opposed.
Yes. One abstention, and yeah, correct in remembering you abstained.
I did not
You did not.
No, she voted against.
against
Against, okay. Sorry.
to abstain.
Yeah,
on a vote for
that's what I was
acceptance.
recalling. Thank you. Okay,
I'd move to accept the minutes with that edit.
Second.
right. Any other discussion on that? All right, we'll take a vote on approving the minutes with the adjustment there. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Think that was unanimous. And now we are moving on to agenda 6, recognitions and acknowledgements. So I do not believe that we had anything specifically here, Heidi, unless there was anything you wanted to note. Okay. Board announcements and correspondence, similar, no announcements and correspondence at this point. So we're gonna keep rolling right on to agenda 8, which would be reports and presentations. The first one would be to hear from student representatives to the board. Being that everyone is on summer vacation, I think they are having more fun than they may have had here this evening. So we don't have a report there, but we will move on to 8.2, which is to hear an update on the school safety plan.
Sure. Well, I was hoping to have this ready to go and to be approved by the board tonight, but I am still diligently working on this. There's a lot of layers to it, and so I'm shooting now for the August meeting. We are making great progress. We are updating forms. We are updating contact lists. We have a digital copy of this where you can now tab in. But the information is aligned and correct to what we are doing for school safety. And so my goal is to have this ready to go, and for you, Ryan, as the chair, to sign off on it by the next board meeting in August. So I just wanted to give an update on that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Any questions, concerns from anyone? All right. So now we will move to the superintendent's report, and the first portion of that is the financial report.
Evening, everyone. So I'm here to present an update on the audit to start and then the FY25 budget closeout process. So starting with the audit, since our last meeting 2 weeks ago, we've made some pretty meaningful progress on the 2023 audit. Late last week, we got draft number 2 of the financial statements from Ron Bullier and Co. And my team has spent the last week thoroughly reviewing the 242-page document. And as of today, I signed, returned to the firm the acceptance letter, which basically allows them to start the process of them finalizing the audit. At this point, I'm confident that my team and myself have provided all the necessary documentation and exhibits for us to remain on track to get the audit complete by the end of July. So we got 20 days to get there, but hope we do. And then finally, we're rolling right into the 24 audit. So we have our new firm, RHR Smiths. They're going to be on site on Tuesday to start reviewing our management documents and just to, get acquainted with what we do here as a district. So they're going to be on site reviewing everything that's not financial related. And then once we have our final report from Ron Bullier and company on the 30th, we'll roll directly into the 24 audit, starting with that new trial balance. So making really good progress on the audit. And I'm hopeful that by the August board meeting, we'll have something really great to present.
Any questions or thoughts?
Was there anything in the preliminary report that surprised you?
Nothing that really surprised me. I will say though, because you're probably wondering what our fund balance calculation is, we ended June 30th, 2023 at 6.65 million. That's a snapshot of that date and time. So in subsequent years, we added money to it or we subtracted money from it, but that's where we were in this draft number 2.
How close is that to what we thought it was?
I was wondering if you're going to ask that. We did a little bit of a review looking at that snapshot in time of the end of 23 and looking at 24 and 25. And I think our calculation that we presented back in January was about $81,000 off. So
That's pretty good.
that's pretty close. And that all is, yeah, so that's where we stand.
That's great.
And then for the 25 budget closeout, I know I said 2 weeks ago that I thought I would be able to present a report today, but I think there's still a little bit too much moving pieces going on right now. It's just two weeks since the end of the fiscal year. We're still receiving invoices from various vendors, but my team has the internal date to close the year on July 25th. And then we'll have all of our payables done and we'll be able to project a little bit better about where we landed for the next board meeting. So I wanted to be a little bit more accurate than to give you a number that wasn't completely finished. So on track, but still more work to be done.
Anybody else? All right, we are good there. Thanks so much, Evan. Appreciate all the work and we're looking to wrap one up.
Yeah, we're excited to get moving forward.
I bugged him enough, went in, so it was nice to hear from him today on that. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Evan.
Thanks a lot for coming
Thanks.
tonight, Evan.
I do have a couple of things if you want. me
Yeah,
to
please.
continue. Okay, so we started extended school year this week and it's at my high school and kids are bopping around here and in learning. It's a majority of the programs are our Jumpstart program and then extended school year for students with IEPs. The classrooms are buzzing on the Wednesdays and Thursdays. The classes are nearly double, like almost 25, 30 students that are coming in. So it's phenomenal. I do have to do a quick shout out to one of our high school teachers who's working SY and he's working with the elementary students, but his classroom is created into a mini golf course with the desks in the middle. And I have never gone into a classroom in the summertime and seen such excited kids, but actually working and learning and maintaining the skills that they have. It was wonderful, great for social skills building. So way to go, Mr. Keith Miller. I really appreciate that. It was fun to go in there and see that. I also just wanted to do a quick acknowledgement of the suffering that's happening in Texas right now. It's really awful to watch the news and to see such young children and families suffering. So I just wanted to acknowledge and say that. So that's it.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, so next, or yes.
Can I ask a question about summer
Please.
school? Is was that federally funded?
Summer school is not federally funded. It's part of our, well, two things. Jumpstart is funded out of Title I, which we have received our Title I funds. So we're all set with that. I had a little bit of a panic over the weekend, but we're good. And then our special education is federally funded. Some of it's federally funded, but that is not affected. Our summer school programs for extended school year is not affected. It's part of the special education.
Notwithstanding what may or may not have been in the news about federal summer school funding.
Some of the grants are in question. Amanda and Evan were able to attend a meeting with the DOE. We don't know anything yet, but the majority of it is Title III and Title IV and Title II and Title IV. Thank you. There's too many titles. So we are watching that carefully. We've come up with a plan and we are okay right at the moment. We worked the numbers all out on Monday morning and it's not looking horrendous, which with the Title I money, we're so thankful because that's where majority of our majority of our salary come out of. So, but we have all those numbers figured out and we know what we're going to do if we don't get it. We have some time though.
All right, we'll move on to the board chair's report, and I'm actually going to kind of kick it back to Heidi with the question on my first one, so I didn't see you up for this. I know I'll be ready. The first thing I want to let you know is we do have plans in place for a workshop August 12th. And I actually want to see if Heidi, can you give us a brief little overview of what we're looking to address there? And while you're pulling that up, the other piece I wanted to, a couple other things quickly just to report out on. I've definitely been getting my feet under me a little bit these first 10 days with lots of learning, and hopefully significantly more to come. So I appreciate everybody working with me as I'm working my way into this. I'm grateful for that. And then I don't want to steal any of the thunder from Jim's CIA report, but there was an awesome meeting today that I think really brought forth a couple of things Hudson and I have been talking about, ideas of some ways to bring some more information to the agenda to help educate the board and the community and things. So we're looking at adding what would be like an educational update. It's the first Thursday or the first meeting of every month that we have. And then a finance update, which Evan just gave us a great one today. But to try to bring some consistency to those. So we'd have monthly updates in both of those, one on the first and one on the third or second meeting, I guess I should say. So just a couple of additional adjustments and maybe standing agenda items as we work into this. That was going to lead me into my ask for future agenda items amongst folks here. I have the list from last week, or 2 weeks ago. If there's anything else people have thought of that they would like to learn about, hear about, requests. And it doesn't have to be made now. Feel free to reach out to me if something comes to you at another time. And let me know. I'm definitely here for that. Okay, Heidi. Oh, wait, did Kim have?
Not a topic. Can you just repeat the date you said?
August 12th is what we had targeted, which is that Tuesday, and then we have a meeting that Thursday, and those would be the two full board get-togethers that month. Both in the same week. Because I'm not on vacation now.
Very
Okay, yeah,
good.
Heidi.
Okay, so we are going to be on the August 12th, we're going to be having a company named Broadreach come in. I'm really excited about this, and it's a company that works with us on PR opportunities, strategic visibility plan, communication guidelines, and other areas that we're going to identify. I think you've heard me talk about this previously with this company, and I did some work with them over the last few months. Really, it's about helping our district to shift the narrative, which I think is really going to be important. In the last few years since I've been here, it's kind of been a reactive mode, and we're going to shift that narrative to a proactive mode with really strategizing on how we get out the positive topics, looking out on the social media world and seeing what's being said and how do we work with that. And then how do we communicate all the good things that we are doing in this district and not being bombarded with negative stories, as opposed to really talking about all the really good things that are happening in this district. So they will come, their team will come, a few of them, and do that introductory board workshops that you can really understand what the purpose of that is. So it's very strategic, and I am very much excited about being able to work with this group and continue to work with this group. So if we have another crisis in the district, knock on wood, we do this and we reduce the crises happening across the district, things will happen, I know that. But the goal is to stay out in front of it and to do the things that we did to minimize all that negativity.
Excellent. Thank you. And another great goal, I think, is to help build the culture, and just one of those things that continually came up in the strategic planning process was improving the culture for the whole community, and they can definitely help us with that as well as part of this. So really excited about that, and hope that those of you can make it, can make it. Do make it. That's makes sense, but you know what I'm trying to say there. All right. So with that, we will keep moving on to 10.2, which is the item that we have added, which is the statement regarding the July 15th rental at the Orion. The intent in bringing this forward was to have a universal kind of board statement that we could reference that kind of spoke to our obligations in meeting the rental based on our policies. But again, and we also wanted to reiterate our support for everyone in our community, in our school. And we would, I feel like we, try to outline that in this statement as well. I wanted to open it up a little bit to discuss that, get feedback, thoughts, concerns anyone may have, because I've heard from a few people. But really trying to understand, some of the legal obligations that we have. Also maintaining support for the full community. So, yeah.
I was just gonna say that I think it's a very good statement, and I would be happy to support it. I would just suggest the numbering at the bottom of page 1 of the statement has several numbers 4s. That should probably just get implemented, but that's very.
Thank you. Good catch. Yeah, and again, this is provided to us with work through our legal counsel, and we shared some information there, so everybody kind of has visibility to what we are looking to communicate with us. Anybody else have any thoughts? Yeah.
When I read what the lawyers had to say, I thought you did a pretty good job, because we said the same thing before we heard from them, so good job, us. You were right.
Yeah, no, it was good to hear that too, and then to see why, and hear about why that was. I apologize, this did come out, or we shared some of this late this afternoon, so if you haven't had a chance to read it at all, I apologize, but we just received some of the information. Yeah, Frank.
At the same time, I think it was very prudent of us as a district to make statements about the safety of our children and the real meat of what the issue was. So thank you.
I wanted to make sure that we were clear of we had near unanimous support 18 months ago when we passed ACAA in support of transgender and gender expansive students. We continue to have that same support on the board now and then across our district. I thought it was a good opportunity to reiterate that, but to just try to help understand some of the different pieces that we are up against, presented themselves in this, and the Orion really is designed to be a community space that is open and available to the community, and per our policy outline some of the rights for everyone to use that. All right, so I think Hudson, Amy, it's appropriate if we take a quick vote to approve. It seems to me like we are, so that, okay, so all those in favor in approving this as a board statement that we can share with media, anybody else that may contact us or just have interest or follow us up between now and then.
Let me formalize that with I so move.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll pause for Heidi to capture it better than me mumbling through it. All right, so it has been moved and seconded. Any more discussion before? All right, so all those in favor, sorry, Mary, yeah.
Right, so we're voting on the fact that that we approve the statement that's being written, that we can now just disseminate it publicly if we so choose. Is that
Correct.
sort of what we're saying?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
okay. We're approving the statement that we make. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? No abstentions? All right, thank you. It would appear to be unanimous, I believe. And I appreciate everybody, the support and coming together on this and working our way through it. So thank you very much. All right, next up, as I alluded to, we have committee reports and an excellent one coming, I believe, from Jim. So have at it.
Thanks, Ryan. The CIA committee, the agenda is in, the onboard. I really think that today's meeting brought home the power of, as you suggest, perhaps for the entire board, of the stories coming from the schools, and not only from the leadership and the teachers, but there were students there today as well, from an elementary school, to tell a story of really incredible impact in terms of mathematics, core mathematics achievement, K through 5, across an entire school community, from with Rick Didek and Woodside Elementary School, is how we began. And it was a chance to follow up. He had come to seek the committee's first thumbs up and then the board's approval to institute the math facts lab, which has been a significant player in that incredible game. He spoke also of the cultural component. The teachers spoke. I think the story that to watch as a third grade teacher, to watch a rising fourth grade student, when asked to solve 3 times 17 on the spot, to be able to say, well, I know what 3 times 10 is and 3 times 7 is, so that's 30 plus 21, that's 51. The mental gymnastics, it was not just knowing that 3 times 7 is 21, which so often math facts stop at. That's the fact. It's the ability, the strategies, et cetera. There were 8 members of the board in attendance today. And again, this is my bias towards curriculum, towards what actually goes on in the classroom. But the power of the presentation, I found stunning. And of course, we asked Rick to come back, that he's shown some strong results. So what are you going to do after that? Keep it going. The real core of the meeting, though, was to hear from Amanda and to have the committee have a deeper look into some of the ELA pilots that are going to be going on this year. One for the elementary, the earliest elementary, supported by the Department of Ed, the state of Maine. But the fish tank ELA, the conversational, we really had a chance to go in deep. And Jessica, your comment about the power of the open source nature of the content and the ability for all of us to go in and take a look at not only what the books are, which Amanda brought an entire collection of the text for us to see, but also the model, the engagement of conversation around complicated concepts and ideas. So it was a powerful presentation building on an approval that was already given. The approval had gone, but for Amanda to come back with, okay, but let's take a deeper look, not only, and Megan from the middle school and Rick were both there to bring the administrator's perspective to this work. But really, I thought a very powerful meeting. No action to be taken, but I wish you could all have seen it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Moving on to, some old business to take care of. Consider a second reading adoption of proposed revisions to existing policy JFG, questioning and searches of students.
So moved.
Second?
No changes from first read on this one. Pretty straightforward. Policy is in good shape with adjustments flowing from our cell phone examination.
Questions, comments, concerns? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? All right, unanimous. Thank you, Policy Committee. We will move on to new business. So the first item that we have here, we have some work to do this evening on committees for the coming year. And the first item that we wanted to talk about is committee related, but it's a little bit more of a discussion probably, and specifically for those of you that were on Transportation Committee this last year. Historically, Transportation had been an ad hoc committee that met as needed, or if an instance presented itself that needed to be dealt with. We made it a standing board committee this last year. I think there was some discussion about the value and need to have it at that level. In thinking about it and discussions, proposal we thought about could have folded in underneath another committee. Maybe it's ad hoc again, different ways to approach this. My thinking at the moment is to maybe maintain it as a board level committee. Reduce the expectation on meeting time so that there's not an undue pressure to meet more frequently, or but to have it there as its own, thinking that some of the topics and items that would come to this may not be could erode or take away from a committee that it gets blended into. They take away time or focus from that committee on other things, and just wanting to have its time to address problems as they arise. That's just a thought, though. I'm open to the discussion of how we feel it should be, and most interested in hearing from folks that were on that committee to say, I think you guys probably know better than any of us what is needed. And then I guess the last piece to bring up is how, if we do have a concern from a parent or family throughout the course of the year, we just need to make sure that we have something in place, a way to deal with those and address those when they arise. So with that, I'm going to open it up to anybody. Yes, Mary.
So I realize the history of this transportation committee, I think, started with the idea of bus stops and the idea that we weren't in compliance with the policy at all the different routes and the different towns. I don't think that was ever resolved, actually. It was an ad hoc committee, but I don't believe we ever actually followed through with changing the routes or figuring out what the routes were going to be. I don't think that ever happened, but I'm not sure that that's actually a live issue anymore. I don't think it's been that much of a concern, so I'm not going to worry about that, but that was a big issue at the time. And then the other thing is that we of course had the electric bus thing, and that was also solely a transportation committee thing. Now, I know the facilities committee has a lot on their plate, and I'm not saying that we couldn't cover it in the facilities committee, these issues, but when they do blow up, they require attention, and they require meetings, and they require it doesn't always happen, but when these issues do come up, they do require some really concerted energy. And I'm just wondering if that will not, the facility committee also already has tons on their plate. And so I would go with your recommendation, Ryan, that we maintain this committee because it doesn't need to meet as frequently, and it really isn't as needed sort of a committee, but it does rise to the level of need sometimes that requires some multiple meetings. And I'm just not sure we can hook that right onto the facilities committee and ask that of that committee. So that's fine.
Thank you, Mary. Art?
This was my brilliant idea. Partly because it is a committee that meets like 2 or 3 times a year. It's not frequent. So it's not like it's a huge burden to have that committee. Some of the, I think especially when we were talking about the electric bus, there's some overlap in terms of with facilities. Much of what we're talking about with the electric bus stuff is around the infrastructure, the charging infrastructure for that. So it's pretty much the same committee of people as well, the facilities and the transportation historically. So it was my idea to kind of maybe we just roll it under facilities. I really don't feel strongly about it one way or the other. Just in the name of efficiency and whatnot, but I don't have I'll support whatever.
Yeah, so I'm on both of those committees and I see the need to continue with the Transportation Committee second, first. And, but as far as making decisions about an electric bus feed, that's a facilities question. So therefore, that would be naturally fall under what we do in facilities. But I think that if we're gonna maintain this committee, we need to set times when they would normally meet. So if you're gonna meet 3 times a year, that's a good schedule for something like that. But if you put that into the notes now, then it will maintain this as a committee and not as an ad hoc. And that because you have to disband ad hocs, but if you maintain it as a standing committee, we don't have to go through this again. It's just a simple way in which to solve it.
Andy?
I was on both committees as well. I don't have a strong opinion. I do like the overlap with facilities, but when it's necessary, I guess we could always entertain the transportation committee to be at the same time as the facilities meeting to talk about that joint infrastructure issue. I see there being flexibility with scheduling transportation meetings. And if it needs to happen during a facilities meeting, that's fine. Provided there's overlap. But yeah, I don't, luckily, we didn't have a lot of big issues this year in transportation, so controversial maybe, but not big. So yeah, either way is fine with me.
Anybody else have thoughts they want to share? The one last thing, we have a handful of committees here that rarely meet and maybe even 1 or 2 that didn't meet. I'm not certain in looking at this full list, but I think that, maintaining that flexibility and not having expectation even of quarterly, but maybe it's once before the finance season and another thing throughout the year or something is plenty. So, based on the fact that it's currently a committee and I'm hearing indifference, I'm not leaning towards disbanding it because that would be more of an actual action. Maintaining current course is kind of the closest version of inaction I think I see on this one. And based on a quick discussion here, that's what I would lean towards. Everybody, thumbs up on that if we're okay with that. For 1 more year and see it, we'll see where we are a year from now. All right. So, yeah.
What I did just hear is that Frank is interested in chairing that committee.
That was loud and clear. Yes. Yeah. Moving on. All right. So with that, we are going to move on to 13.2, which is the first committee to figure out and is more of an actual caucus and figure out situation. So this is for finance. A couple of quick things before we go to our little groups here. We do have Topsom and Harpswell alternate back and forth, 1 to 2 per town alternating years. So this year will be Harpswell's turn to have 2. Topsom would have 1. So in our groups, we need to work towards those. Bowden and Bodenham will each have 1. And Hudson is on there already. So with that, let's huddle up and we'll be back in a couple minutes. I've been rallied, but. All right, welcome back. So I am going to start with, who should we start with? Thompson. All right, excellent.
Or does someone need to nominate me? I nominate myself. What do I need to do? Oh, we do the slate afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so Thompson has one slot this year and then it would be Kim. Then how about Bowden Ham? All right. Congratulations. Bowden.
Yeah,
Right,
That's
Jessica?
be the returning.
My colleague from the other end of the starboard, the other end of the starboard corner road.
Thank you for being willing to do it again, Jessica. And that leaves Harpswell with Frank and Gregory.
I moved the slate.
To make sure that Eddie's in a good spot. Did you get Amy and Hudson? All right, so absent any discussion, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? All right, well done. Thank you, everybody, for that. Hudson will be in as chair. He's the chair by being the vice chair of the board, so he will be circulating first meeting times and things shortly. Next item that we have, 13.3, is to appoint a committee member to the Region 10 Cooperative Board. I know that we have, I think we have two people that do it this year, and are you interested in continuing to do it? Excellent. Great. Does anybody else want to do that?
I nominate Jim Moulton, Mary Thompson, and David Johnson as our community member to the Region 10 board.
Okay, all right. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that was unanimous. Thank you both for the last year and this coming year. So now we have 13.4, which is to consider action to appoint board representatives to board and district committees for the 2025-2026 year. I think what we will do, Hudson, if this makes sense, I think we both have this document open. If we just run through this and we'll start with each committee. Maybe anybody that is currently on it that no longer wants to be, and then folks that are on it that want to continue, we'll nail that down and then discuss anybody that'd like to join. All right, so first in order here is facilities. Is there anybody that would like to step off of facilities? All right. Excellent.
Are you officially a member? I guess as chair, you're the, what's the word? Ex officio on all the committees, so.
So should I step off?
I don't,
That's a good question. Please. Okay. So I will take myself off of that officially. Create another spot for, so right now that Andy, Bart, Frank, and Tony are on that. It sounds like you four would like to remain on that, which is fantastic. And would anybody else like to join it? This committee can have up to 7, so that's 3 more seats available.
I'll do it.
Great. Amy? It's going to be a fun one for the next few years. We got plenty to do with facilities. All right. Looks like we've got a great committee there. So moving next to policy. Currently on policy, we have Hudson, Haley, Kim, Gregory, and Jessica. Does anybody not want to remain on that? Excellent. So that's 5 people on policy. This can have 7 as well. So does anybody feel passionately that they would like to join? All right, I think we are set with moving forward. You guys did a pretty good job this last year, so let's see if you can beat it this year. CIA is next. So Jim, Haley, Mary, and Frank. Any changes or additions? Would anybody like to join CIA? It's a great committee. It was as great a meeting as I have been to in a while there today. It was fantastic. All right. So everybody else is welcome to sit in anytime you like, but we'll move forward with the same folks there. SEC, Kim, Hudson, and Gregory. Okay. Any of other things? Yes, sir. So that's 2 Kim and Hudson on that. Would anybody else like to? Mary? Ready? All right, no one else, so that gives us 3. So I think that covers what we need there, so that's excellent. Transportation. I think we can remove the top name. Okay. All right, let's keep him on. Thank you, Bart. Andy, Mary, and Tony. Everybody happy to stay on that again? All right, thank you. So then we have support staff negotiations and professional staff negotiation. Currently, we have 2 people on the support staff and 4 on the professional. I guess is we need to, it may be helpful to rebalance that.
One of them is you.
Yeah, one of them's me, but as I'm looking at this, it looks like we've had other past chairs on this committee or on these committees, so I'm not sure.
We did last year.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just gonna add that if the standard negotiation schedule holds, the support staff negotiation will probably have a lighter year next year. The professional one will have at least some stipend related things to do with nothing.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's probably all this
Yeah,
stuff.
it has
this year,
some
right?
annual items.
So how about I'll move myself over just to balance it to, Bart.
I just had a question. Is there anything on the like docket for this year for the support staff? No. So it just says if things come up.
Just in case, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I'm all over it. By the way, Andy was the chair last time.
All right. You could maybe trade him transportation for that.
I don't mind taking credit for being the chair.
All right, so negotiation, support staff negotiation, I'm now on that with Andy and Bart, and then professional staff will be Frank, Amy, and Holly. Let's see, what do we got next here? So then next ones we have, that are, what do we call these? Excuse me. Ooh, thank
one.
you. We have a new ad hoc athletic committee this year. I know we've had, Amy has indicated interest in that. Is there anybody else that's interested in that committee? Yes.
Standing board committees have all been
Yep.
assigned. Which is just the one.
Right. It happens to be honest. If you're looking for it. I don't know. Oh, is our committee?
Said he was the thought. I mean, again, we can move it however we like.
Right.
Does anybody else want to join that? At this point, Amy. Thank you, Frank. All right, we have 2 folks there, so that's good. Thank you both. Now we will move on to the advisory committees, which Region 10 we did already separately, so moving to adult ed. That's a separate one, but it's the same folks that are on the Region 10, and would you both like to stay on that? Anybody else that? Okay, so Jim and Mary on adult ed. Safety committee. This is currently Amy and Kim.
I'm glad to stick with it, but if someone else would like the spot, that's okay too. Same.
I think it would be great if you both want to take that on again. It's fantastic, good, important, extremely important work. So thank you for that and keep doing it. Next here is technology, where we have Jim and Hudson from this past year. Both look like you are good to go again for another round. Anybody else? Okay. Orion Committee. Thank you, Gregory. And we do have 2 slots on that if anybody else would like to join the Orion. I think 2 years ago, we maybe had a couple of people, and then this year Gregory was our lone representative.
Till the very, very end.
Until it all happens, yeah. All right, well, thank you, Gregory, for doing that and all the work that's happened there. And over the last couple of years, it's been great progress. Mental Health Committee. Oh, see, I'm sorry, Bart and Holly.
Yeah, I need to come off that. I cannot seem to make the meetings during the day.
Mhm.
So it's just somebody else should take my spot. I know Holly's been, I think, more consistent.
Is there anybody else that would like to join that? It sounds like there's Zoom meetings. Are they monthly or?
There's Zoom once a month at like 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. I don't know which Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, I think historically we haven't always had 2. It's been 1. And then we had 2. Yeah, so it could be 1.
Nobody else is jumping at the opportunity. We'll go with 1. All right, Holly. Thank you, Holly. All right. I should have prepared myself a little bit better. School-based health center. It's taking me a second to use these. Just the letters that I saw. It's like, what is this one? School-based health center. Holly and Haley are both on that. Okay. Does anybody else want to do that?
Ollie comes back. and doesn't want to do those committees.
We can bring it back, I think.
She has to.
Yeah.
We voted. We're gonna vote.
Calendar committee. I'm happy to have you stay up here into that one. Anybody else? All right, perfect. Thank you, Hudson. Just a few more to go here. Appreciate your patience. PEPG. No, don't. It's not on here. Right? Okay, thank you. Jim is our representative there.
I guess I have a question. I've not been called to a meeting. Is it something I should be? And on several of the Gifted and Talented Advisory Committee, which I am on. I have not. Is it am I missing the boat in some way, is what I ask.
I do not believe so. No, I think they're having.
Okay, thanks. So I'll continue to be available.
Thank you, Jim. Right, he is, yeah, so we'll go to dropout prevention. We don't have a representative on there at the moment. Yep. We do? Excellent. So. Okay. So you'll continue? Is what I'm hearing. Great. Thank you, Frank. I apologize. I didn't realize that. Gifted and Talented Jim. It sounds like he's happy to serve there again. Wellness. Oh, yes. Sorry.
And talented. I was just going to sort of say historically, I think there's been a community member that sometimes serves on that. So I guess anyone listening is interested, get in touch with Heidi.
wellness.
Yep, I'm interested in that.
Excellent. Thank you, Jessica. So and then the next we had a strategic planning committee that was an ad hoc committee. I don't know if we need that. It feels like these other pieces of work that you're going to be doing now, Heidi, are kind of the next stage of that. And there will probably be one that we need again in a couple of years as we look to reevaluate goals and different pieces. But I think we will do away with that. Hudson, as the closest thing to a policy expert here. Do we need to dissolve an ad hoc? Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then a belonging committee. Mary is on that. You're happy to do that again. Thank you. Believe it or not, that's all the committees.
Yeah, I was just going to add that on the Word document list, they had the personal technology study group, but I imagine that committee's work is also done with Dr. Hoffman, so. To nominate.
Actually, I'm gonna interrupt. I think I sat with a grandparent of a rising ninth grader who's as aware, and I'm not aware of the support or information that has gone on, for chances. Anyhow, her granddaughter told her that her major concern is if there is a active shooter. That's her concern about cell phones. So I would suggest that the personal technology study group moves on. That it is not a one and done. The policy is to move forward. It's going into action. But making it work is going to be an ongoing. So continuing to have input into the ongoing work is my sense. I would suggest that the committee should continue, perhaps renamed. Jessica, I'd be interested in your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I would agree. And I don't know if you were nodding that Chris wanted to, if he was finished, because I was under the impression that we would have a bit more work to do in terms of, rolling out different materials that we had talked about, Jim. So anyway, I think there's some still work to be done. I don't know. That would be a Dr. Hoffman question specifically.
But for now, and I'll talk to Chris about it and see what he says. I don't know where it ended up as far as if we were going to continue with the committee or he leads it, so I wouldn't want to speak for him right at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll keep it on. We'll circle
Great.
back here in August just to confirm.
Certainly,
but
if the committee continues, I'd be pleased to be part of it.
As would you. Yep. Great. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out, Jim, and Jessica, for signing up.
I was going to move to accept the committee assignments as discussed.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? Abstentions? This is unanimous. Thank you. Next, consider action to appoint Dr. Losi as the district's physician.
So moved.
Second.
And Heidi, I'm correct in assuming we've talked with Dr. Losi and he is willing to take this on one more year?
With Dr. Losi, and she confirmed.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? That was unanimous. Thank you. All right, next we have up here is an action to consider action to approve the board meeting schedule as proposed for the 2025-2026 year. Amy picked up on one item that I would like to call out. Is in October, the second meeting in October is the same time as the fall MSMA conference in Augusta. I believe that those are an 8 to 5 day in Augusta. So it doesn't necessarily interfere with the meeting time, but historically, the board has chosen not to meet then due to that meeting. So that's one thing that we may need to discuss. I'll be honest, I'm leaning towards keeping it on, having the meeting, and it's, it's another work day with the board meeting that evening is kind of how I view it, but I think we should discuss it. Yeah, Hudson.
So yeah, historically, at least since I've been on the board, which maybe is not that much history, that we've just moved the cadence of the meetings in October by a week. So what I would propose is we move to October 16th and 30th for that month. And that way, the 23rd, the 23rd is still available for people to attend without feeling like they've got to have 18 hours of board-related things in a day. That's been the standard practice. There's still 2 meetings, just shifted by.
All right, so is that a motion that we should, or I guess, how do we want to handle this? Because it's not.
I guess we don't have a motion on the table. I would move to accept this calendar with the provision to move the October dates to the 16th and 30th.
Second.
And we can still amend it, obviously. So.
Yeah, Jessica.
Another question, is graduation the 7th? Do I remember that right? I was looking at June, we've got it on the 11th and the 25th. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we knew, and there's a workshop on the 2nd, so.
I feel like when I put this together, I referenced the calendar, the district calendar to confirm these, but it would never hurt to double check my.
14th, okay. I guess I would just ask as a parent of a rising senior, how people feel about that schedule. I mean, the 11th is a Thursday, 14th is a. Feels a little squashy, maybe, but I don't know how others feel about that. Or what it was this year, since I didn't have a senior. But this year too? I think it was. Yeah. Okay, that's fine then, don't worry about it. In May also, my only point about that was, am I interpreting right, April 9th, we have just the one because of April vacation, and then it's a full 5 weeks before we meet again on the 14th of May.
That is correct. That what's proposed here, and in keeping in line with how we did it, I believe how it was this year, the distance between could have been 4 weeks or something based on when Thursdays fell. But it was a default. And yeah, and then there's a lot of budget work going on then.
I just wanted to say, if you moved it up to October 30th, that would be when I wouldn't be able to make, but that doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, I don't know if that's the case, but it does mean that, yeah. So I prefer to keep it the schedule, but it's up to you. Obviously, it doesn't matter. I won't be able to make.
I also will be traveling and not just another. But that's
So
the reality.
we're looking at the 16th. The alternate weeks in October will be 16 and 30.
Yeah,
I can't hear.
I proposed the 16th and the 30th because that kept gaps between the meetings in September and November. Whereas if we did the 2nd and the 16th, we would have 2 meetings back to back at the end of September and beginning.
Got it.
Yeah, I think it feels to me like the best course of action maybe if we wanted to go to one meeting that month and do the 16th and just have it be a bigger, longer meeting potentially. Not knowing if there's issues with that without looking at our, to-do list for the month of October, or keeping the dates potentially that we have.
It would interfere with your new plan for the learning and finance on.
It would, and those months will have to pick it.
If we have one in November, one in December. So I think probably should have 2.
Okay.
I'm with Amy.
I think, yeah, no, that's fine. I think what's being proposed is potentially shifting what's on the paper to a week earlier on both sides, both of them, a week early.
The 16th and the 30th is what.
Oh, yeah,
has
sorry,
later.
later, a week later.
Later.
Yeah.
Yes, not earlier, later. So. Flip a coin, let's, how do we want to do this?
Yeah.
To adjust to the 16th and 30th. All right, so let's take a vote on that.
And that's been our historical practice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to miss on the 16th for travel, you know, it happens, right?
Yeah.
I have to miss.
Oh, I was
Okay, you ready to vote?
Ready.
All right, so all those in favor of adjusting what you see here to have October be the 16th and 30th instead of what was presented, raise your hand. Or- Yeah, all those opposed? All those abstaining? All right, we will make that adjustment. Is unanimous. And then we will, let's take a quick vote on that new calendar, because I think what we just voted on was the adjustment, so.
I voted to accept it with that.
With
Sorry, the
that,
motion was
okay.
to accept it with that
Okay,
adjustment. So I think
thank
we're
you. So
good.
we are good, so we can continue on. Thank you. Hudson's rules. All right, thank you guys for working through that. All right, next we have up is the fun one here. So to consider action to approve the United Way grant in the amount of $10,106 to support the school-based health center. Heidi, would you like to speak to this one?
Extremely thankful again to the United Way grant. It helps keep moving our school-based health center forward. And I've signed the documentation, and then we'll receive that for the coming year. So thank you again.
I make a motion that we accept the grant from United Way, Midcoast, Maine.
second.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Anyone opposed? No, any abstention? All right, that was unanimous as well. Thank you. Thank you to the United Way. Next, we have to consider action to appoint a board member to the hiring committee for the HR director. Heidi, I don't know if you have any insights to what the commitment may be there.
We do have a tentative timeline. It's a draft while we are waiting for applications to come in. And we would like to have a board member on the hiring committee, obviously. Amanda will be the hiring manager for that. There may be some shifts in the timeline, depending on how many applications we actually get over the next few weeks. But we would love to have somebody be able to be a part of that as they have been in the past.
So is there anyone that feels passionately that they would like to participate in this?
I can do it.
All right, thank you, Amy. Anybody else? All right, so Amy, do we need to vote on that? All right, so all those in favor? Opposed? You're pretty, you sure? Did we have a motion? I apologize.
And I will say that I seconded it.
And we'll go with the vote that we did, and it was unanimous.
Mhm.
Amy tried to back out, but she made it.
I was outvoted.
All right, calendar and announcements. So you'll see here what's listed. The big thing again is that workshop in August that we talked about earlier, and then which is on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th is not on this. So I want to make sure we call that out. And this, we'll discuss the potential of a discretionary meeting in August at that first meeting, but at this point, it does not look like we'll be needing it. Haley.
I just noticed that in November, the workshop is on election day. I don't know if that is problematic, unless my calendar is wrong that that's election day, but
Your calendar may not be wrong.
Tuesday after the first day.
and
Yeah.
on the calendar, or on this paper, there's a workshop on that day.
We'll take a look at modifying that. Thank you.
That might mean that we'd have to switch representatives mid-meeting.
Yeah.
The workshops are on the side. I see what you did there. Those are the dates. I thought it was like.
Thank you for noticing that, Haley. Okay, with that, I move that pursuant to 1 MRS subsection 405(6)(a), we enter executive session to discuss matters of employment regarding the superintendent's evaluation pursuant to procedure CBI-R.
Second.
We don't expect to take any action afterwards, right? As far as people listening at home will be.
We do not plan on taking any action afterwards, no. Don't know that,
Okay, you're the boss. Yeah.
I'm not sure that we'll be taking actual action today. We may have a decision in the direction we want to go, but no action will become of that.
Taking action at a future board meeting.
The action itself will come, I think, at a future meeting
Okay.
when that's wrapped up. All right, so all those in favor? Opposed, abstentions? No, great, thank you. So it's 7:46.